Imagine a tomb so majestic that its very name became synonymous with monumental architecture. The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, built for King Mausolus and his queen, combined Greek, Egyptian, and Lycian artistry. Towering over the city with sculpted reliefs and grandeur that defied time. How did architects and artisans harmonize such complexity into a single monument? Though earthquakes and invaders reduced it to ruins, its story and design continue to fascinate architects and historians alike. Join us on History Vault as we explore the secrets of the mausoleum, its cultural significance, and the mystery behind one of the most celebrated tombs of antiquity. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to uncover lost architectural marvels and step into a world of kings, artisans, and legends. Some wonders vanish, but their stories endure. They say it was a tomb like no other, a monument so magnificent that even the kings of the world would bow before in awe. Yet today, all that remains are scattered ruins and a few fragments preserved in museums, leaving us to wonder, how could one of the seven wonders of the ancient world vanish so completely? What secrets did it hold, and what stories did its towering columns whisper across centuries? This is a tale of Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, a tomb built for love, power, and ambition, yet swallowed by time and nature itself. In the ancient city of Halicarnassus, on the coast of modern-day Bodrum in Turkey, Mausolus ruled with influence and vision, a satrap of the Persian Empire in the 4th century BCE. He sought not only to govern his lands, but to leave behind a legacy that would echo across the ages. When he died in 353 BCE, his wife and sister, Artemisia, vowed to honor him with a tomb so extraordinary that it would become legendary. The task was nothing short of monumental. To build a structure that rivaled the grandeur of the gods, one that blended Greek, Egyptian, and Lycian architectural styles into a single breathtaking masterpiece. The mausoleum was constructed atop a hill overlooking Halicarnassus, its elevated position ensuring that it dominated the skyline for miles. Standing approximately 45 meters high, the tomb combined a massive rectangular base with a stepped pyramid-like roof, topped with a chariot statue that seemed ready to surge into the heavens. The exterior was adorned with more than 30 sculptors' masterpieces, depicting gods, humans, and mythological scenes, each carved with astonishing detail. Columns rose like sentinels around the structure, their marble polished to gleaming perfection, casting long shadows over the city at sunrise and sunset. What made the mausoleum so extraordinary was not merely its size, but the artistry and symbolism embedded in every stone. Sculptures capture the dynamism of battle, the grace of peace, and the devotion of a wife to her husband. Each relief told a story of power, mortality, and divine favor. Visitors who gazed upon its grandeur were struck not only by its beauty, but by the sense that it was more than a tomb. It was a statement of human ambition reaching for eternity. But as with all wonders, beauty and ambition could not protect it from fate. Over the centuries, earthquakes shook Halicarnassus, chipping away at the once imposing structure. Conquerors plundered its treasures, taking the finest sculptures and marble to distant lands. By the medieval period, much of the mausoleum had collapsed, its stones repurposed for fortresses, mosques, and homes. And yet, despite this destruction, the mausoleum lived on in memory, its story preserved by ancient historians and travelers who marveled at its legend long after the last stone fell. Even today, the fragments that remain, housed in museums or scattered across the site, tell a story of unparalleled artistry and ambition. Archaeologists have pieced together reconstructions, allowing us to imagine the grandeur that once loomed over the city. Coins and historical texts preserve the image of its towering columns, the sculpted friezes, and the chariot atop its roof. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus, though physically gone, continues to capture the imagination, reminding us that some creations, no matter how impermanent, can become immortal through story and inspiration. And so, we begin our journey into the life and legacy of the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, a tale of love, power, art, and the unstoppable march of time. In exploring its rise, splendor, and eventual decline, we uncover not only a wonder of the ancient world, but a mirror reflecting the human desire to create something that defies mortality. Imagine standing before a tomb so monumental that it seems almost unreal, a fusion of human ambition and divine aspiration. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was more than just a final resting place. It was a declaration, a message to the world that Mausolus and Artemisia would be remembered forever. Its construction, begun after Mausolus's death in 353 BCE, drew artisans and architects from across the Mediterranean. They brought Greek precision, Egyptian grandeur, and Lycian elegance together in a symphony of marble and stone. The foundation itself was an engineering marvel. Carved from a hillside of Halicarnassus, the base of the mausoleum measured roughly 140 feet by 110 feet, a massive platform that would support the weight of soaring columns, intricate friezes, and the pyramid-like roof. Each stone was carefully fitted, ensuring stability despite the region's frequent earthquakes. The architects and engineers of the time had no modern machinery, yet their understanding of load, balance, and proportion created a structure that would stand for centuries. Around a rectangular base rose 36 towering Ionic columns, each more than 40 feet tall. Between these columns, sculpted reliefs depicted mythological battles, ceremonial processions, and scenes of daily life, a blend of narrative and artistry that mesmerized all who beheld them. Each relief told a story, reflecting the values and beliefs of the age while honoring Mausolus's legacy. The intricacy of the carvings was unmatched. Every muscle, every fold of drapery, and every expression was rendered with astonishing realism. Above the columns, the structure rose in a stepped pyramid, culminating in a chariot sculpture believed to carry Mausolus and Artemisia into the heavens. This iconic statue symbolized their eternal journey and elevated the tomb from mere memorial to a celestial monument. The pyramid itself was adorned with additional sculptural groups, each telling a tale of heroism, devotion, or divine favor. Scholars today argue that the combination of horizontal and vertical elements created a sense of movement, guiding the eyes upward, as if the mausoleum itself were reaching toward the sky. The mausoleum was not merely an architectural wonder. It was also a cultural hub. During its construction, artisans exchanged techniques, ideas, and influences from across Greece, Egypt, and Anatolia. The project became a center of innovation, producing some of the finest sculpture of the classical world. Historians suggest that it took more than a decade to complete, with Artemisia personally overseeing each phase to ensure that the tomb would truly honor her husband. Her devotion and vision transformed grief into a lasting monument, blending artistry, engineering, and symbolism into a structure that would inspire generations. Even in its prime, the mausoleum was more than a tribute to one man. It was a reflection of the power and prestige of Halicarnassus itself. The city, strategically located on the coast, became a center for trade and culture, its skyline dominated by this tomb that combined grandeur with artistry. Travelers from across the Mediterranean marveled at the sight, recording their impressions in texts that would survive millennia. Coins and engravings captured its image, ensuring that even those who could not visit in person would know of its magnificence. Yet, like all great wonders, the mausoleum's perfection was fragile. The very features that made it so extraordinary, the soaring columns, the intricate carvings, the towering pyramidal roof, were vulnerable to earthquakes and human greed. Over the centuries, invasions and natural disasters chipped away at its brilliance. Treasure hunters, seeking gold and sculptural masterpieces, plundered its interior. Pieces were removed, sold, or repurposed, scattering fragments across the ancient world. Still, the mausoleum's legend endured, preserved through historical texts and later through the work of archaeologists who would painstakingly uncover its remnants. By studying these fragments, modern scholars have been able to reconstruct both its appearance and its cultural significance. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was not merely a tomb, it was a masterpiece of collaborative genius, a testament to human creativity, and a symbol of eternal devotion. Even the smallest remnants, the carved reliefs, the column bases, and the fragment of the chariot, offer insight into a world that valued beauty, honor, and immortality in ways that still resonate today. Thus, the mausoleum story is one of ambition, artistry, and love. It reminds us that even in death, human aspiration can reach for the divine, leaving a mark that survives centuries of decay, conquest, and oblivion. Though only fragments remain, the mausoleum continues to inspire awe, inviting us to imagine the grandeur, the vision, and the devotion that brought it into being. For centuries, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus stood as a beacon of human ambition and artistic mastery. Yet no monument, no matter how grand, is immune to the relentless forces of time, nature, and human greed. By the late centuries of antiquity, the once majestic tomb began to show the first signs of vulnerability. Earthquakes, frequent in the Aegean region, cracked foundations and toppled statues. Columns that had proudly risen toward the sky swayed and splintered under the earth's relentless tremors, foreshadowing a gradual but inevitable decline. Invaders also played their part in the mausoleum's downfall. Conquerors who swept through Halicarnassus saw not only a monument of honor, but also a treasure trove of gold, marble, and sculptural masterpieces. Over the centuries, the tomb was looted repeatedly. Fragments of its sculpted friezes were carried away to distant lands, its gold decorations stripped and melted, and even parts of its structure were repurposed for new constructions. Each act of plundering further diminished the grandeur that had inspired all across the ancient world. By the medieval period, the mausoleum had suffered severe damage. Its towering pyramidal roof had collapsed, leaving only the rectangular base and scattered remnants of the Ionic columns. The chariot that once crowned the tomb, symbolizing the eternal journey of Mausolus and Artemisia, was gone, lost to history. Travelers who visited centuries later described a skeletal ruin, whispering of the magnificent monument that once dominated the skyline of Halicarnassus. Yet even in its decline, the mausoleum's influence persisted. Historians and writers preserve its memory through detailed accounts, ensuring that the grandeur and innovation of its design would not be forgotten. These texts describe its architectural sophistication, the skill of its sculptors, and the devotion that inspired its creation. The story of Mausolus and Artemisia, of love and ambition intertwined with artistry, became a legend that outlasted even the physical destruction of the tomb. Natural disasters, however, continued to challenge the mausoleum. Earthquakes, in particular, dealt devastating blows, causing entire sections of the structure to collapse. Over time, weathering eroded the surviving sculptures and reliefs, leaving only fragments embedded in the soil. These fragments would later be unearthed by archaeologists, offering tantalizing glimpses of the tomb's former glory. Despite its physical destruction, the mausoleum remained a source of inspiration for architects, historians, and travelers. Its combination of Greek and Lycian architectural styles, its sculptural richness, and the symbolic representation of eternal love set a standard for monumental tombs across the ancient world. Even fragments housed in museums today. The intricately carved friezes, the column bases, and sculpted figures tell a story of unmatched craftsmanship and cultural significance. The decline of the mausoleum at Halicarnassus is a reminder that human achievement, no matter how magnificent, is always subject to the impermanence of time. Yet, paradoxically, it is this very impermanence that immortalizes the wonder. Stories of its rise, its splendor, and its ultimate collapse have been passed down through generations, inspiring curiosity and admiration. The mausoleum teaches that true legacy is not merely in stone or gold, but in the ideas, artistry, and devotion that survive centuries of decay. Even today, the ruins of Halicarnassus draw historians, archaeologists, and travelers eager to witness what remains of this once legendary wonder. The fragments speak volumes about the cultural, artistic, and engineering achievements of an era long gone. While the monument itself no longer dominates the skyline, its story continues to dominate the imagination, reminding us of a time when human ambition reached for the heavens and left behind a legacy that transcends the centuries. Centuries passed, and the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, one a marvel of the ancient world, lay hidden beneath layers of earth, abandoned and forgotten. Nature slowly reclaimed the hill where Mausolus had been honored, while stories of its grandeur survived only in the writings of ancient historians like Pliny the Elder, who marveled at its architecture and artistry. For generations, the monument existed more as legend than reality, a wonder described in texts, imagined in the minds of those who longed to see it. The modern rediscovery of the mausoleum began in the 19th century when archaeologists and explorers, inspired by the accounts of classical writers, set out to uncover its remnants. Excavations revealed the foundations of the tomb, fragments of columns, and, most remarkably, sculpted friezes that had survived centuries of earthquakes and plundering. Each fragment provided a glimpse into the ingenuity and creativity of the ancient artisans. The reliefs captured battle scenes, ceremonial processions, and depictions of God and humans, showcasing a level of skill and realism that continues to astonish modern scholars. These discoveries allowed historians to reconstruct the mausoleum's original design. The combination of a massive rectangular base, a stepped pyramid roof, and elevated chariot sculpture revealed a monument both grand and symbolic. Architects marveled at how Greek, Lycian, and Egyptian styles have been seamlessly blended into a single harmonious structure. Even the smallest surviving fragments, carved stone blocks, column capitals, or sculpted figures, provided critical insight into construction techniques, artistic sensibilities, and cultural values of the era. The mausoleum's rediscovery also sparked a revival of interest in the seven wonders of the ancient world. Artists, architects, and scholars attempted to visualize its original glory through sketches, models, and later digital reconstructions. These reconstructions, while interpretive, brought the ancient wonder to life for a modern audience, allowing people to imagine standing beneath its soaring columns, witnessing the sacred chariot, and gazing upon the intricate reliefs that once adorned its walls. Beyond academic study, the mausoleum's legacy resonates culturally and symbolically. It stands as a testament to human ambition, love, and creativity. Mausolus's story, immortalized by Artemisia's devotion, reminds us that monumental works are often born from personal narratives, love, grief, and a desire to be remembered. Even though the structure itself no longer dominates the landscape, its story continues to inspire awe and admiration worldwide. The fragments unearthed by archaeologists are now displayed in museums, preserving the memory of an artistic and engineering brilliance. Tourists visiting Bodrum, the site of ancient Halicarnassus, often pause to imagine the towering columns, the sculpted friezes, and the chariot atop the pyramid. These remnants connect us tangibly to a lost civilization, bridging the gap between past and present. In a way, the mausoleum teaches a profound lesson about impermanence and legacy. While stone and marble may crumble, the essence of human creativity, devotion, and vision endures through stories, art, and historical memory. It challenges us to consider what we leave behind, not just in physical structures, but in influence, culture, and inspiration for future generations. The rediscovery of the mausoleum at Halicarnassus demonstrates that even the greatest monuments, though diminished, continue to captivate and educate. Its fragments speak across time, offering insights into engineering, art, and society of the ancient world. And in these remnants, we find not merely the memory of a tomb, but a celebration of ambition, innovation, and the human desire to touch eternity. As we stand amid the scattered fragments of Mausoleum at Halicarnassus today, it is impossible not to feel the weight of history pressing down upon us. Once a towering testament to ambition, artistry, and love, it now exists in memory, in fragments, and in the imagination of those who study it. Yet, paradoxically, it is in its absence that the mausoleum teaches some of its most profound lessons. The monument was born from devotion. Artemisia, grieving the loss of her husband Mausolus, transformed sorrow into a structure so magnificent that it defied mortality. The mausoleum combined engineering prowess with artistic mastery, merging Greek, Egyptian, and Lycian styles into a single, harmonious expression of ambition and reverence. Its sculptures, reliefs, and towering columns were not merely decorative. They told stories of valor, devotion, and human aspiration, creating a narrative that transcended time. Despite earthquakes, invasions, and centuries of neglect, the mausoleum story endures. Its artistic fragments, preserved in museums, speak to modern scholars of civilization that value beauty, power, and legacy. Its influence resonates in the world of architecture, inspiring monumental tombs and public works long after its stones crumbled. The mausoleum reminds us that human achievement is fragile in form but enduring in spirit. Its philosophical legacy is equally compelling. The mausoleum teaches that immortality is not guaranteed to material structures alone. Even the grandest tombs may fall to time and nature, yet the ideas, creativity, and stories they embody can survive millennia. Mausolus's ambition, Artemisia's devotion, and the artisan's skill continue to inspire, proving that the essence of greatness lies not in permanence but in influence. Today, the mausoleum also connects past and present. Visitors to Bodrum walk among the ruins, imagining the soaring columns and chariot atop the pyramid. Digital reconstructions allow us to visualize the tomb in its full glory, while historians and archaeologists continue to piece together its story. In these experiences, we are reminded that history is not merely about what survives, but also about what we preserve in memory, imagination, and scholarship. The Mausoleum story extends beyond the boundaries of Halicarnassus. It resonates in literature, art, and cultural memory worldwide, symbolizing the eternal human desire to honor loved ones, to achieve greatness, and to create beauty that outlives a single lifetime. Its legacy challenges us to reflect on our own ambitions, the marks we leave on the world, and the ways in which love, devotion, and creativity can transcend mortality. Ultimately, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus stands as a testament to the enduring power of human vision. Though its stones have been scattered and its grandeur diminished, its spirit continues to captivate. It reminds us that true legacy is measured not merely by what survives physically, but by the inspiration and stories that echo across centuries. In this way, Mausolus and Artemisia have achieved a form of immortality far greater than marble ever could provide, an eternal reminder of human ambition, devotion, and the quest to reach beyond the ordinary. The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus stands immortal in memory, even if only fragments remain. It exemplifies ambition, artistry, and the desire to create something eternal, a lasting tribute to human achievement. If the story of this tomb inspires you, subscribe to History Vault and hit the bell icon. Discover lost civilizations, architectural secrets, and the wonders that continue to shape our understanding of the ancient world. The structure may have crumbled, but its legacy is eternal.